In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 20 hidden video game details that you may have missed. Again, to be clear, if you've been following my Easter egg and detail hunting exploits for a while, you might have seen a lot of these details before. So if you only want to see new, never before seen Easter eggs, then make sure you watch the brand new series that is all about Easter eggs that I've never covered before. The latest episode was uploaded Thursday, and I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Now, the first detail for today's video can be seen in Assassin's Creed Origins, and it's so small that a lot of you have probably seen it before but never noticed it, which is kind of the entire point of this video. After using a zipline, Bayek will do this. So Bayek will sort of rub his hands after using the zipline, which, like I said, is a really small detail. I mean, granted, his hands would have been shredded to bits if he tried this in real life, but it's still a nice touch. Now, there are a lot of perks that come with modern day gaming, but one of the cons has to be what happened to Multiversus. You see, despite having some of the most recognisable characters in all of entertainment, the game couldn't maintain an audience, and the online servers were shut down in 2025. Which is a shame, as there was a good game here. Now, one of the coolest parts of Multiversus was how the various characters would interact with each other, with even the most random of combinations having unique dialogue. Here are just a few of my favourite examples.
Na 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 na, eat you!
Who let the moron with the hockey mask in here?
Those rumors about his power level are true.
Look, everyone, it's the multi-million-dollar man, Bruce Wayne. Yes, I know it's you piece of shit. Aren't there hormonal teens that need murdering somewhere?
Now, when it comes to environmental storytelling, I'd argue that the Fallout series has some of the best in all of video games. I mean, sure, a lot of this storytelling is done using skeletons, but I still think it's cool. Well, one of my favourite examples is actually really sad. At this location on the map in Fallout 4, you can find the skeleton of a young girl on a mattress. It appears that she was all alone when the bombs dropped, and if you search the nearby suitcase, you can find a holotape which goes a long way to explaining what happened.
October 22nd, 2077. I finally told them tonight, and it was bad. Real bad. Dad was shouting, telling me I should be ashamed, that I had to get out of the house. Mom just cried, and somehow that hurt worse than anything else. She didn't say a word, not even when I packed my things. I can't go to John. He doesn't even know yet. Maybe he'll never know. If it weren't for the cabin, I wouldn't have a place to sleep. Just need some time to think. Last time I was here, I was just a little girl playing clubhouse in this old cabin. Now I'm really scared. Will anything ever be right again?
So after telling her parents that she was pregnant, the young girl was disowned, and took refuge in a cabin that she used to play in as a child. Unfortunately, the bombs would drop the next day, so this would become her final resting place. There is no quest or objective tied to this story, it's just something for curious players to find. Speaking of sad recordings, up next is Bioshock 2. Now, we all know that Rapture wasn't quite the underwater utopia that it was painted out to be. And even before things went wrong, and I do mean really wrong, people were looking to leave Rapture before it became the home of spliced up psychos. When exploring the seafloor, you can find the bodies of a young couple who thought they had managed to escape, only to be proven very wrong.
All right, diary. Last entry. Lizzie and I, we found a sphere, and we're going home. Ain't that right, baby? Next stop, topside.
Oh, I love you. It was you who saved us, Sammy. It was you, Button. What was that? What's that sound?
She's seen us. It's Lamb. Torpedo! Ah, I'm trying to...
Now, if I was to ask anyone who has watched a couple of my videos before what the most famous code in all of video games is, I'm guessing that some of you would say Hades 2. But some of you might also say 0451. The code has appeared in loads of different games, which has led to some people, including me, trying the code whenever possible. I mean, usually the worst case scenario is that the code doesn't work and I can just try again. But in Gloomwood, the consequences for guessing 451 are far more severe. If you try entering 451 into the first safe that you come across, this will happen. I mean, I did say the consequences were severe. So during the course of the average Call of Duty campaign, you're going to pile up a lot of bodies, and usually you move on pretty quickly. Well, in the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, there is one specific NPC that demands your respect, and I have no idea why. The Flashpoint mission sees you entering a stadium that is under attack by armed men, and one of the casualties is this guy. So for some reason, when you approach the fallen mascot, your character will salute them. I didn't have to press a button here, the game just did it. And to be honest, I don't know why. Now, I know that some of you are sick of hearing me talk about how I record everything myself. But if there's one particular game that makes me regret that stance, it's Metro Exodus. You see, at the main menu, you can see Anna sitting on a train with this distance tracking thing ticking by overhead. Well, I say ticking by. It actually counts 1 kilometre for every 35 real-world seconds. Well, if you wait long enough for it to reach 2033, this will happen. So in one of the coolest fourth wall breaks I've ever seen, Anna will acknowledge the fact that the counter is at 2033, which is of course the name of the first Metro game. Now, to record this detail, I had to leave my PC on overnight, as if you play the game normally, there is no point where the counter reads 2033. So the only way to see it is to just wait in the menu, which makes this pretty rare for a casual player to find. Now, if you've ever played The Sims, I'm guessing you've seen a Sim die. It's okay, we've all done it. Well, some of us accidentally and some of us on purpose. If you haven't seen a sim meet its maker, basically the Grim Reaper appears and takes your sim away, which is pretty cool. Here's the thing, your sims can swim, and that also means that they can drown. So what happens then? I mean, it would look really stupid if the Grim Reaper just walked on water. So let's see what happens when a sim drowns. So, ever the professional, the Grim Reaper will emerge from the water wearing a scuba mask, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 is full of colourful characters who you'll either love or hate, or in some cases, love to hate. One such character is sleazy car salesman Simeon Yatarian. If you're not familiar with Simeon, he's the guy that runs the dodgy car dealership that specialises in shady finance schemes. When playing as Franklin, you do some work for Simeon, and you do your job so well that he even does this.
That you are Employee of the Month, huh? Anyway, congratulations.
So Simeon names Franklin as his Employee of the Month, much to Lamar's annoyance.
What's up, dog? Franklin here has been awarded Employee of the Month.
You fucking with me, right?
Well, eventually you're hired to repossess a car that belongs to the son of Michael DeSanta, a career criminal with a short fuse. And when Michael finds out that you're just the errand boy and the real bad guy is Simeon, he handles things as you might expect.
Oh, shit!
Now, having led Michael to Simeon, it's safe to say that you're not in Simeon's good books anymore. And if you go back to the dealership, you can find this. So Simeon has chosen to replace Franklin as Employee of the Month, which is fair, but he's now given himself the honour instead, which is hilarious. Now, despite being an outlaw, Arthur Morgan is one of the most beloved characters in all of gaming. There's just something about him that players seem to connect with, which is good as he really doesn't seem to love himself. You see, if you stand in front of a mirror, you can have Arthur make comments, and his self-esteem is through the floor.
You ugly bastard. You're getting old. Old and kinda sad. No wonder they all leave you. You sour-faced idiot. You ain't fooling no one.
Now, by the time that you're watching this video, I'll be well into the first of many playthroughs of Resident Evil Requiem, and I'm really hoping that the game has more moments like this next detail. In the Resident Evil 4 remake, when approaching the Garrador, Ashley will say this.
What was that? Do they keep animals down here or something?
Well, it turns out the animal in question is this guy, which if you didn't know, is the Garrador, who is much scarier than any animal. Now, after defeating the Garrador, you link back up with Ashley and continue with your adventure.
Oh, it's you. What happened down there?
Nothing. You were right about the animals, though.
Well, if you take Ashley down to the basement, a secret conversation can be heard.
Was this the animal?
No, you can't keep them.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Now, a lot of players wouldn't bring Ashley down here. I mean, there's no reason to. So there is a high chance that a lot of people won't have heard this dialogue before. And I love it when games do stuff like this. So whenever a game lets you name your character, they're probably expecting pretty much anything. From people using their real names or nicknames to people using... well, you can guess what some people might use. Well, in the 2016 Metroidvania Ghost 1.0, if you take the instructions at the choose your name screen literally, and I do mean very literally, this will happen. Honestly, this might just be one of my favourite hidden details in all of video games. Now, I've said before that the grunts from the Halo games are some of the funniest characters in all of gaming. Grunts from the Halo games are some of the funniest characters in all of video games. See, I did say that. Well, if you needed any more proof of the grunts and their comedic abilities, look no further than Halo 5, where you can find a grunt talking to a very uninterested elite.
So last night, instead of sleeping, me and the other Ungoy was up talking about battles. And my buddy Gripple was saying all about how he shot at a Spartan human once. No kidding, I mean, I'm serious. And it was an amazing story. It was the kind of story that makes you proud to do a war, even though we don't do wars with humans no more because the Arbiter said not to, right? Ah, it was so amazing. We forgot we'd been told to be asleep. I'm serious, like 8 times already. But everybody was yelling, so I started yelling too, and you know how it feels to yell real loud about something? I mean, real loud. Ah, it feels great. So, here is a big question. Do humans make eggs? True or the other one? I know you give up, so I'll tell you. I don't remember, actually, but it was a question we had to know. Another one was, what kinds of things humans breathe? Not waters. You put them in waters and forget about it. They get real quiet after breathing waters.
Now, I love dogs, so anything involving man's best friend in video games immediately gets my attention. The only trouble is, the dog detail in Far Cry 5 is another sad one. At this location on the map, you can find this. So it appears that the dog's owners were killed by members of Joseph Seed's cult, and the dog was left to fend for itself, though it can't seem to tear itself away from its owners. As much as I tried, I wasn't able to take the dog with me. Now, we've all played a game where we would do almost anything to defeat a boss, be it getting the boss caught on terrain so that you could whack away to your heart's content, or even shooting from a distance so that you could slowly whittle down its health bar. This sort of thing is usually referred to as cheesing, and you can actually cheese a boss in Crash Bandicoot N.Sane Trilogy. When fighting Tiny, you have to dodge his lion minions whilst a crowded coliseum watches on. Now, this isn't particularly hard to do. If you're struggling, you can stand in a corner and avoid all of the lions, which will make the crowd do this. So the crowd will throw cheese at Crash, because he's cheesing the boss. It's pretty funny. Now, the Black Ops 2 campaign sees you using several different weapons. One of the more forgettable pieces of gear are the shock gloves, which, as the name suggests, will allow you to shock enemies with a single punch. Well, when punching enemies with the gloves equipped, there is a chance that this will happen.
The fossil's getting away!
So the gloves have a chance of making enemies sick. I honestly can't think of many other weapons that have unique effects like this in the Call of Duty series, but if I'm wrong, then let me know in the comments. So one of the coolest things in the Insomniac Spider-Man games are the various tricks that you can perform when swinging. I mean, it's not like swinging in between skyscrapers isn't already brilliant, but add a couple of flips into the mix and you feel unstoppable. Well, one of these moves is next level type of cool. If you scale a really tall building and then hold the square button and down on the left thumbstick, this will happen. So Spidey will whip out a Rubik's Cube and solve it mid-fall, which is brilliant. Now, the Bayonetta games are very stylish. I mean, look at it. Well, even when spraying her pistols at a wall, Bayonetta has to do it with a bit of pizzazz. So, firing her gun at the wall will cause Bayonetta to either draw a B or a love heart with her bullets. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.